Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to an episode of Glenn Travels World, a podcast where I take a look at both inner and outer travels. And today I am here with at Talk with Gia. and we're going to just go a little bit over Gia's travels throughout her life, both inner and outer travels. Yes. There we go. That's what we're doing. Traveling through her past, present, and future. But I think it's great to just, since we're here in the present, we'll start with the present. So how do we get here?
Present day. For those who listen to my podcast, and Glenn, you guys know we went to DCI together. We started about a year ago. And we're best friends. We've grown to best friends over the last, when we were in classes. And so that's how we're here presently right now. Overall, we're presently New York. So I've been in New York in and out for the last 16 years of my life. But solidly sitting here in New York since 10 years, I've been here solidly. And I had my daughter in Canada and then I came back. Why did I come back? That's the universal question. When usually people ask me that, I say, oh, better job offer, more money. Of course, that's the easiest thing to say. But since you're being so authentic with yourselves lately, I came back because even though my home country town is Canada, New York was always that. When you leave home or you watch the movies and they leave home and it's like you're out there trying to find your place in the world. New York was my place in the world. It was. I say was because I feel like it's less changed. But New York is it's always been that footing. I could plant my own roots here.
Yeah, so you planted from roots here. Yeah, it was almost a decade.
Yeah.
As basically all this entire.
She's only known this place.
Yeah.
So she's been here since she was 8 months. Too.
Yeah. Her
whole life is New York. She originally is from Canada too, but in her head, New York is home.
And when you were first thinking about doing that move, how did it feel? What was coming up? Were you excited to live in the greatest city in the world?
The busiest city in the world?
Busiest city in the world.
So I guess that takes me back to my past. My parents, which have been together since I was about 8, a little longer. My mother's raised me pretty much on her own. Family's obviously been there. And I decided this second year of high school that I needed a change. I was that rebellious teen starting. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, my mom's finally starting to put her life back together and she needs her space. So I came to New York for sophomore year, which I didn't get into sophomore. I actually got pushed up a year to make Canadian credits, which was great. But that was my first time living with my dad. And they say, you don't let a kid run around the candy store by themselves. I got a taste of what you got. With no family members around, no restriction, yeah, my dad was there obviously, but it wasn't the same parental as your mother or your aunts and uncles. We all grew up in technically the same neighborhood. So here was here's the keys to the candy store, and I ran. I just went with it everywhere I could go. And then I went back home because my father and I had a disagreement, and my stepmom and everything. And then I kept coming back, and I kept going back, and I kept coming back, and I kept going back, and finally, I had Maya, and I'm like, I can't keep doing that. So we left Canada technically for good 9 years ago.
And how do you feel what parts of you have been involved? So what has been brought to you kind of
when I first used to come here, I think I didn't feel it. When you hear New York City, you think Manhattan, big city, walking in Grand Central, that's the theme you want. I never thought having a kid in New York. That was never for me, and having your backyard, your home. And what has evolved is having a kid. I don't think New York is the place to raise a kid. That's me personally. I've evolved to the point yes, she's still like technically older, but she still has a few years to go before she's ready to go on her own. You kind of want the suburban life that I grew up with, like riding your bike outside, being able to walk freely, know the neighbors, like enclosed communities, kind of like that sense of what I grew up with. It was like, oh shit, that's what I needed for her. And then as I got older, also the hustle and bustle of Manhattan was great. You can agree with me. When you're walking, you feel it. You're like, oh, I'm in the movie.
Yeah.
But when you get home, New York is very lonely if you don't have anyone around you. Holidays, like you have to get in a car, or cab, or a train and go to families who've actually moved out of the city to actually have like a family meal or friends like that. And it's like I'm not used to that. That's what's starting to hit home. Like that's evolved to the point where I enjoy the hustle and bustle, but I think I want to go back to a part of me earns for like the whole like hey community, right? Like don't get me wrong, I love New York because of what it's taught me and how it's helped me grow since I was 15. Let's say, let's be fair. That's when you really become like I've lived here when I was younger with my parents, but it wasn't that time to like have my own personality. So like let's say from 15 to present date, it's done a lot in my life, and I'm grateful for the experiences and the lessons. But New York is literally a blood pressure shot away from a stroke or a heart attack sometimes.
Yeah.
It is, because as much as you love New York, nothing beats summers in New York. My cousin and I were talking about that. You know, blasting music, driving, it's the heat, and it's great. And I feel like this maybe when I went to LA, it's just like you're every corner. It's either like you're meeting, and again, I'm going to use this terminology and I shouldn't, but it's like you never know who's the devil offering you what to sell. And the devil, I don't say is like bad in a sense. It is bad, of course, but it's like when you really look at like the story behind it, it's probably not the right word, but it's like you just never know which question is going to change your life forever because you don't know how you're going to apply to it. So I feel like as a person, and you could agree or disagree, we've done this soul searching since last year. Yeah. Like, where do we go from here?
I know that's the thing. It's like knowing all this and kind of seeing things from like that perspective of like growth and everything. And also, I don't want to like sound like high and mighty, but kind of seeing people still kind of under this spell. Yes. In a sense that like, you know, because they're not thinking in that way. They're just kind of thinking that this is it and this is their life and this is their reality. And I'm like, it really is all a choice. We can feel bound by circumstances in many ways, and that is valid. But at the same time, like I was saying before, you can really just decide one day, I'm going to do this different and I'm going to do that different. And then you can see, you can actually really do anything that you want. This is your life. And, you know, if you feel bound to certain people and certain circumstances, like that is on you. Like you are choosing to be bound to them if you're taking care of someone. You know, it's different. It is. You could decide to go up and at them. I mean, like when my mom was taking care of her parents, like, you know, more consistently a few years ago, like she chose to do that. She retired. She went there. She also had siblings that could have made that decision, but she made that decision. So there's always the choice there, and you know what feels good for you. So if it feels good for you to, you know, stay or do or this, then it's on you. It's just your choice. I think that's really what I want to say. It's your choice. You have the choice.
We do, but a lot of people hold weight to that.
Yes.
And I take care of my mother as well as my daughter. And the only difference is, as much as I do have to consider them in every action, I also want to consider what the best option is for them.
Yeah.
My mother, she's been retired for almost 10 years. Medical reasons, and then I've had her like, you know, been here with me. I don't want her going through this hustle and bustle life around her anymore. She doesn't care for it. She doesn't do anything. She sits at home. Like, it would be nice to give her back something she likes, and a big part of me believes she doesn't care to go back to our hometown. Well, my hometown. She lived there since she was 16, so her hometown too. I don't think she cares to go back there. Mm-hmm. I feel like she'd like where there was a movie that said this, and if you get it, you get it. Cool for you. If you don't get it, going somewhere, there's no extraditions. Going somewhere new. That's why people move to different locations and they take a chance. There's no extraditions in that location. There's nothing there that's playing in the mouth. Oh, I did this. This person knows this. So while you have the choice and you have people you take care of and you want to go, there's nothing wrong with that. But do it for the right reason. Don't hold that person as your anchor, because while you're trying to justify your choices, make sure you're aligned with your choices. because some people are like, well, I chose to stay here. Did you? Well, why? Like, why are you choosing to stay here? Why can't that person go with you to the next part?
Yes, exactly.
So it's like, that's my thing. Like, I would leave New York within a heartbeat and go to any of those places I listed because there's no extraditions there.
Yeah.
It'd be my chance to start fresh with them.
And that's a good point. It's like, it's always worth asking. It's always worth bringing up. You can't just be like, oh, they have to stay here because of this. It's like, maybe they don't want to stay
Maybe
there.
they don't.
Like, accessibility issues aside, but well,
people, medically anywhere right now,
yeah,
you can get the same medical care
yeah,
as long as you know what you're doing. I speak that with knowledge behind that. You can literally go anywhere and get the same care as long as you know what you're doing, and there's nothing that's holding you back other than your limiting own belief.
Yeah. And if you're feeling that feeling of resentfulness and that inside, that is because you're being told by your intuition to be doing something, and you are actively choosing to go against that. And that, I don't want to say corrupts you. I don't want to say, but it affects you.
Unsettling.
It unsettles. It debilitates you, and that's why if you're feeling resentful and digging deep, it's like because you know what you're supposed to be doing, and you are choosing daily to make a choice to not do that thing, and that is not the choice you have to make. There are factors. There's factors you consider. I don't know what your factors are, but kind of take them and kind of say, can we do something different here? And if that involves staying or leaving New York, then
or anywhere
anywhere you are.
And it's not even staying or leaving. It's like, what opportunity awaits me in this new location?
Yeah. And for those, if anyone is interested in exploring that, we can go over astrocartography.
Yes, he does offer that.
I do have astrocartography
he
services.
Does that with me all the time. Actually,
yes.
It's quite fun.
And thanks to Gia, who provided me her HP touchscreen, I now have access to Solar Fire, which also includes timing, so we can even get to the right timing for you to go somewhere. Like, just for instance, right now I'm experiencing a Jupiter ascendant transit here because I was born here, and I am a Gemini rising, and Jupiter is in Gemini, and it's actually currently transiting like the 19th degree, which is my
as of today. You need to check mine on that. I need to know where I need to be.
Yeah.
So, thanks for that. No, we need to check that. But,
yeah, so I'm hoping something big happens in the next couple of days because I'm here for 2 more weeks before we leave.
We will. And that's the thing. We have to accept without expecting.
Yes. Actually, I was going to say something will happen because I have to act like it already is.
It's already there. I feel that way. I already feel like all my cards have nicely shuffled.
Yes.
But accept without expecting. That's my new thing.
And like for those who are familiar with the law of assumption, it's just the same thing. It's already taken care of, and you don't have to. Taking aligned action is important, but also thinking about like it's not like something you have to figure out here. You just do the things you like, and that will probably get you much further than just mulling it over in your mind.
Well, I can also speak like having like my background, my parents, knowing how they think, and they think worst case scenario. A lot of us embody that, and that's just a thought for you. Yes, we were taught to believe and have fear behind everything, but don't take that fear as bad. Make that fear into motivation. That's what I do, because that's my human design.
Yeah.
Motivation is my fear.
Fear is your motivation.
You know what I mean.
And mine is innocent, so that's why I'm like, yeah, just do whatever. It'll turn out fine.
And mine is taking the biggest jump sometimes when I shouldn't.
Yeah, so if you do have a fear motivation, if you are fearful of something, it's like, ooh, that means...
It might be pushing you in the right direction.
Yeah. Pushing you in the right direction, invest a little more investigation perhaps before you do set things, but it does mean you're on the right track if you're having this little bit of resistance. And something that came up in a session I had earlier this week is that his subconscious advised him the places you feel the most uncomfortable are the places that you need to be.
Oh, because that's true. That's where you need to grow.
Yeah.
I love this. And if you guys ever feel the need for coaching, you have both of our contacts in the show notes. I take care of inner child and Ayurvedic nutrition. So I know it's like, why are those connected? Trust me, they're so connected. There's so many work there to be like looked at and not to be done. Looked at. That's the best way to say it. But yeah, if you ever feel like you need to chat about it, we're both certified coaches. And if you feel like we're not the right ones, we do have a whole roster of coaches we went to school with.
Yes. Indeed, yep. We are also a part of a group podcast of all of us the DCI7 Collective.
I believe it's something like that. And then if you guys just want to tune into mine, I am A Talk with G, and literally that's my website, podcast, Instagram, and TikTok. I've literally named it all the same at this point. So it's A Talk with G. Tune in. There's nutrition tips, and there's some new offerings that's coming up with my shop for Healing with Shadow. So.
Yay!